Hello, everyone. Good evening to all of our audience, all our members watching us on Facebook Live on the Africa ELTA Facebook page and also here in Zoom. So I'd like to welcome you to the Africa ELTA Female Leadership Mentoring Program final presentations. My name is Amira Sarema. I'm the program organizer and coordinator from Africa ELTA. And today we are very excited to be starting this live event with you, where we are going to celebrate the final presentations of our mentees who have been actually active and working hard with their mentors over the past few months, 3 months actually, working online to improve their presentation skills, the proposal writing skills, and also learn skills related to leadership. We are very excited to have 15 of our mentees completing the program today, tomorrow, and on Sunday. We are going to be watching their final presentations where they are demonstrating the skills that they have acquired throughout the program. The Africa Elite Female Leadership Mentoring Program this year is celebrating also having been there for 6 years. We are very grateful for our mentors, amazing mentors who have been working hard with our mentees who are selected among a pool of more than 250 teachers who applied this year to join our program. We have 15 of them completing the program, being selected and receiving this mentoring to come today and share their presentations with us. We are also very excited that among our mentors, we have really mentors who have been there on the program for the past 6 years, and mentors who are joining us for the first time this year. And we are very proud of some of our mentors who are also past mentees in the program, joining the program to pay back and also to support other teachers acquire the same skills that they have acquired. This Tonight we are celebrating the presentations of the first three of our mentees who are going to present tonight. Then tomorrow we have five presentations and we continue the rest of the presentations on Sunday. So please stay tuned and join us for the 3 days to celebrate these presentations. Our mentees who are now our presenters are selected based on their active involvement in professional development in their local community. Also, they had to show some evidence of taking initiatives or some evidence of leadership within their community to be selected to join our program. Many of them are presenting today for the first time ever, but I'm very proud of them because I'm sure this will not be the last time. Our program has presentations that would last each for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes of presenting, the speaker will be there to answer any questions from the audience, and it will go this way. So I'm going to introduce the mentor, and the mentor is the one who has been working with the teacher for the past 3 years to prepare this presentation. And then our presenters are going to give their presentations and receive any questions. We are planning for this event to last for 1 hour, but based on the discussion, we are going to be flexible if this extends for more than an hour. So welcome everyone, and we are going to start now with our first presenter tonight, Melanie, and I'm going to give it to her mentor, Anne, who is a past mentee in this program. Anne is an experienced educator from Tanzania. She has more than 14 years of teaching experience, and she's also like specializing in English language teaching, literature, and teacher professional development. She's an active member of ELTA, which is the local teacher association in Tanzania, and also an active member of Africa ELTA. And we are very glad to have Anne with us as a mentor this year. And the floor is yours. You can introduce your mentee.
Thank you, Amira. Good evening, everyone. Allow me to introduce my mentee. Her name is Melanie from Cameroon. She has been teaching for 18 years now. She's advocating for classroom research. Please, ladies and gentlemen, allow her to start the presentation. Thank you. Welcome, Melanie.
Thank you. Thank you, Anne. Thank you for presenting me. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to my presentation. I would like to share my screen. Okay. Okay, thank you very much once more. So I'm going to be presenting on strengthening ELTA practices through teacher research mentoring communities. Our presentation outline is as follows. So within this presentation, we are going to explain what is classroom research, and we're going to look at the advantages of classroom research. We are going to also look at what mentoring communities are, and we are going to equally look at the benefits of teacher communities of practice. And I'm going to show you a case study of ELTA Research Group, which is a mentoring community. And we are going to share strategies for building a mentoring community. And I'll provide some tips for sustaining and scaling mentoring communities. And then we'll have some key takeaways and call to action. So when I started teaching, like the first 10 to 15 years of my teaching, I was a very disgruntled teacher. I especially teaching English as a foreign language to students who spoke only French. It was a very difficult task. I complained about everything. I complained about the classroom, the students, everything that you could think about in a classroom. And each time I went home, I was sad and I almost quit the job. But things changed when I attended a seminar whereby the presenter talked about, made me understand about a lot about classroom research. He asked us to bring out some problems that we face in the classroom. And within those problems, he asked us to look at those problems that could be solved by the school administration and isolate those ones that the school administration couldn't solve. And while isolating, I found myself in that situation where there's some problems that the school administration could not solve. That is when he introduced action research. He said that there are problems if all of us teachers, we face challenges in our classrooms, and these challenges could only be solved by the teacher through classroom research. That was when I became interested in classroom research, and I joined a community that could help me understand what classroom research was. So I would like us to look at what classroom research is. According to Smith and Reboledo, they say it is a form of inquiry that teachers can engage in to better understand their situation and take actions for improvement. I understood that with those problems that I face in my classroom, I needed to take action by researching, investigating the problems that I face in my classrooms in order to find solutions to these problems. And I would like to equally share some advantages of researching your classroom. When you research your classroom, it improves on teaching effectiveness. You become a better teacher. When I started investigating my classroom, I saw that a lot of things changed in the way I teach. I acquired skills that made me be more reflective, and all the problems that I face in my classroom, I sought ways to provide solution. I became an empowered teacher because I was no longer the one that wanted to quit because of the problems. I was that kind that was involved in seeking solutions and even trying to share my results or my findings with colleagues to encourage them to get into classroom research. And I also learned that when you research your classroom, it enhances student outcomes. When you complain that students don't pass their exams all the time or they don't take part in classroom activities, and you try to find out why they don't take part in classroom activities. And when you provide a solution to them, with them, they become, you discover that the students' outcomes improve. So like I said, I got involved into a mentoring community. So I want to understand what mentoring communities are. Mentoring communities are a collaborative network of teachers. They come together to collaborate. In a mentoring community, you have the mentor who is more experienced. You have the mentee who is learning from the mentor, and they have that relationship of collaboration. Sometimes the mentee gets learns from other mentees, and they also learn from their mentor. So that is the kind of relationship that you build in a mentoring community. Would like to look at the benefits of teacher research communities. When you are part of a teacher research community, it fosters your professional growth. A teacher who gets involved in a teacher research community learns a lot of things that make them grow as a teacher. Just investigating your classroom changes the way you think, to insights on how to better make your classroom a better place and a better learning environment. It enhances teaching practice, because when you mentor, when you carry out a classroom research, you discover that you come up with strategies that could help improve on the way you teach and the way your learners learn. And when you improve on the way your learners learn, it also boosts the students' outcomes. It gives you more confidence in your classroom. You have a reflective mindset. And when things don't work, you don't complain. You rather look for solutions. It builds leadership skills through agency. That way you can stand and talk for teachers, encourage other teachers to take part in classroom research, so that they can improve on the way their ELTA practices. I want to share examples of some mentoring communities that are benefited from. Of course, I'll start from Charity Begins at Home, the Africa ELTA Female Leadership Program, which this what I'm benefiting from now. Through the mentorship I'm able to present as I'm doing now. I also took part in the Sub-Saharan Africa Female Voices and the British Council Mentoring Teacher Champions. And the last but not the least is the CAMELTA Research Group, which is the mother group in which I belong, which is a group that provided me carry out my classroom research. I want to share a typical example of what I gained by belonging to the CAMELTA Research Mentoring Community. When we started the group, we were 40 of us. We were 40 and more teachers who engaged in classroom research, and we're able to improve on our classroom practices. 25 of these 40 teachers presented in the IETFL Research Special Interest Group online conference in 2023, 2024, and 2025. 10 of the teachers are currently mentoring teachers from Cameroon, Nigeria, and Mali to carry out classroom research. And 3 of the 40 teachers have had their research published in the ELT Classroom Journal, and I'm one of them. So you can see how much the classroom research and the mentoring community provided me the support that I needed to carry out classroom research and to be able to share my research with other teachers all around the world. So for a classroom research community to exist, we need strategies that can help us to build these communities. When we started in a CAMELTA research group, there was a goal, there was a vision, and there was a goal. So when you want to start a mentoring community, you need to have a clear vision. What is that community meant for? What are the objectives? Establish a communication platform. In our CAMELTA research group, we use WhatsApp, and we also used Zoom calls for our regular meetings, and we had meetings on a bi-monthly basis. And during these meetings, everyone was encouraged to participate. There are times where we shared our roles so that everybody could take part in sharing their ideas. That way, we were able to build trust and confidence and foster support for one another. Okay, so how can we sustain and scale mentoring communities? When you create a mentoring community, it needs to be sustainable. Else, maybe after some time, it may die down. Like I said in the previous slide, you have to draw a regular schedule for meetings. How often will you be meeting? What platform are you going to use to meet? Organize meetings where you could have teachers co-mentor, or you could have that collaboration where teachers work with one another. Assign roles to each teacher. What is your program like today? And what role is each person going to take? When there is a win, make sure you celebrate them. When we were able to present during the IATF conference, it was a big celebration for us. It was, many of us were was the first opportunity for us to present in a platform like that one. And so it was something that merited a celebration. And during these periods, there are usually challenges. Sometimes we have challenges with trying to finish the work in time, meet up with deadlines, challenges going to school, challenges that concern the family. All those things are things that you have to try to address as a mentoring community and find ways to share your findings. We shared our findings during the IETF conference. We shared it within our ELT communities. And the final thing that we did was publish the research, which reached a wider public. And that way, we were also able to link to other national or international ELT networks like the ELTA and the Malian ELT network. Okay, so some key takeaways. Before I get to explain these key takeaways, I would like for you to write on a chat box how many people here are ready to carry out carry out classroom research, or try to identify those problems that you face in your classroom which you think are worth researching, so that when you get home you can try that in your classroom. So the key takeaways that I want to share here, that to let you understand that teacher research enhances English language teaching practices. Problems will always exist, but challenges can only be solved if teachers are intentional and they carry out research in their classrooms. And for you to be able to succeed, you need a mentoring community that can provide you support and guidance on how to go about your research. And the last but not the least, you need to collaborate, because when you collaborate with one another, ask questions, talk with other people, it also fosters professional growth. Okay, so as we are living here today, I would like us to have this in mind, to join or initiate a mentoring group. You can start from your school community, start from your department, encourage one or two teachers to start, and then you provide the support to them that they need. Use classroom inquiry to inform classroom practice. From the results of your classroom research, you can now try to adjust your teaching so that you can improve on your ELT practice. Share findings with peers. Like I said earlier, I tried to share the findings with my colleagues in my department. I encourage other teachers from other schools to share, to engage in classroom research. And I had the opportunity to share my research in the IETF online conference. And then by sharing, you inspire others. By sharing, you inspire others and you encourage others to take part to engage in classroom research. Okay, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
I'm
much,
ready for
Melanie.
questions.
Yeah, we have time for questions. But I wanted to say thank you very much for sharing this presentation and this important topic on classroom research that many of us find it sometimes challenging. Sarah has her hand up. Sarah?
Hi, Melanie. Yeah, thank you for your really insightful presentation. It struck me that an initiative like this one, the Africa ELTA mentoring program, has a very clearly defined beginning and end, and the roles of the mentee and the mentor are very well defined. With something like CAMELTA, which is an ongoing initiative, how difficult is it to sustain momentum amongst the participants? And are the roles fluid? I'm imagining that mentees, after a while, might become mentors within the same group. How does that work?
Okay, thank you very much, Sarah. Yes, like you from your question, it means you are very informed about Camelta. I am glad to say that after carrying out my research, I had the opportunity to mentor four teachers from Cameroon and Nigeria who were able to who presented their research last year. So for it to be sustainable, we are trying to also train the mentees to become mentors so that the cycle can continue. So right now I have mentees from Nigeria and Cameroon, and thanks to the fact that I was able to carry out my own research, because from the experience I gained researching my classroom, I am also learning to mentor other teachers to carry out the research. And I think that by doing that, that it could be sustainable. It is a challenging activity, but we are trying to involve other teachers, especially those who have carried out their research, so that they could give in some time to mentor other teachers to engage in research.
Thank you, thank you. I know Camelta very well, as you say, and I know the fantastic work that you do. So well done, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we have a question from Letitia. She's asking, how long does a classroom research take?
Okay, it's a process. It starts from identifying the problem. When you identify the problem, you ask questions that will help you to answer the problem. You have to ask research questions that are related to the problem that you identify. And then when you are able to ask those questions, you come up with your objectives. You equally need to define the data, the methodology. What data what tools would you use to answer these questions? From the time when you are able to identify the data collection tools, and then you can now come out with an action plan on how you can carry out the research. Because from the data collection tools, when you administer whatever data you want to use, when you exploit them, then you need to carry on action over a period of time. It depends on what you're looking for.
Thank you, Melanie. This is very informative. So it depends on the purpose and what you are looking for.
Yes.
I have a question myself. So you said in your presentation that you started with 40 teachers, and
Yes.
then you mentioned that 25, I think, presented, 15 others or 5 who got published. So what helped you as Melanie to continue in the program? Because I know sometimes in mentoring programs, teachers get very busy and then they withdraw from the program because of different reasons. So what motivated you to continue?
Like I said earlier when I started the presentation, that in the first 10, 15 years of my career as a teacher, I was disgruntled. I was the type of teacher that complained about students, complained about everything happening in the classroom, and I didn't know what to do to enjoy my job and to make teaching better. So when I learned about classroom research, and from the moment that I started researching my classroom, I found joy in teaching, and my perspective changed, and that is what has kept me motivated. And each time I talk to teachers, there are a lot of teachers who are interested, but they are not able to find time to engage. And that is the thing, that is the biggest challenge, time to engage and fit in the research program into their teaching. Like, because it is something that you have to insert in your daily teaching program. So that is what I did, and that is what is keeping me going.
Very interesting. Well, thank you very much, Melanie, for your presentation again and for inspiring us to conduct the classroom research and also do something different from teaching, which I think we sometimes need as teachers to stay motivated. I also don't see other questions in the chat box, so feel free if you want to comment or leave a comment or ask any questions to Melanie. She will be able to answer them in the chat box, but we'll have to end here to move to the next presenter. So thank you very much, Melanie.
Thank you, Amira.
Well done.
Thank
Okay,
you.
our next presenter is Kefka, and I'm glad to introduce Kefka's mentor, Sarah Mount. Sarah is actually like a very important and dear mentor in this program. She started with us when we started 6 years ago, and every year Sarah is very committed to come back. And even she's the one who's asking me when is the program starting, reminding me of the start time. So thank you very much, Sarah, for your commitment and dedication and being a very busy person yourself. You are still committed to come back and really mentor and support one of our teachers. Sarah has 27 years of experience in ELT in management, business development, finance, and project management. When Sarah's not working, she likes to read and travel. And Sarah is going to introduce her mentee tonight, who's going to give us the next presentation. Over to you, Sarah.
Thank you, Amira. So I'd like to introduce Yvonne Kiseka. Yvonne is a teacher of English at Mwanambeu Girls Senior School in Kenya. She's the chairperson of the English Language Professionals Association of Kenya for Kwale and a Fulbright scholar at the University of Northern Colorado. And last but not least, she has recently been elected as president of her local teachers union, where she is focusing on mental health and well-being of teachers and issues particularly facing girls and women. Over to you, Yvonne.
Thank you, Sarah. Sorry. Can you see my screen?
It's just dark now. I think you opened another Zoom window, so close that one down. Okay, just close everything on your screen down again and then just open your presentation and share it.
Yeah, I think she left the meeting.
Oh, she definitely she definitely closed the wrong screen.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, she's back. Yes, I'm going to let her in.
Sorry for that.
No problem. Okay. Now you can share. You have access to share.
Okay, I think I am having a little problem here. Must
Oh, yes.
be
Okay.
okay.
You present, but okay. Perfect.
Yeah, that's great. We can see it now.
So we can start. Thank you
Yes.
for your patience. So today I'm going to talk about assistive solutions to enhance emotional intelligence in the English classroom. And I know when you sit there watching me, you'll be wondering, why would I go for assistive?
Jessica, your voice, there is a problem with the voice.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, can you keep shouting because we couldn't hear you first? Yeah.
You just need to stay
Okay.
close to your screen, Yvonne.
So as we continue, the English language classroom. And the reason why I picked this is because growing up as a student, I had an experience. Now, as teachers of English, I want to believe that majority of us never really loved mathematics, and I was no exceptional. So there was this one time I had performed dismally in class, and I could remember my teacher writing "gosh" in my presentation. And this really traumatized me. So I went back home stressed, and I was thinking, is it that I only amount to a gosh as a learner? And I was lucky that I had a very good support system because at that particular point, I could remember my mother sitting me down and talking to me, and she found a solution. And the solution was to get a teacher who could tutor me after school so that I could improve in my skills. And when I was looking at my learners, I realized that could they be lucky to get people who can support them when they're having challenges in class, whether emotional, whether they have been bullied by the other students, where do they get the support? And I realized I could use the English language classroom to be able to help them gain independence when it comes to emotional intelligence so that they can be able to navigate through the challenges they experience in life. And so, what is emotional intelligence? According to Daniel Goldman, who is an author of the book Emotional Intelligence, he defines this as the capacity to recognize, understand, manage your own feelings, and to recognize and respond effectively to those of others. So, emotional intelligence is not just about recognizing and understanding, but also managing your own feelings and being able to recognize effectively and respond to the people around you. So, what are the main points of focus that I am going to look at today to help us as teachers to develop emotional intelligence in our learners? We're going to look at the following domains. So the first one will be, how can they develop self-awareness? How can they develop self-regulation? And finally, we will be looking at how can they be able to develop their social awareness as a domain. How are we going to go about this? we will delve into activities that you as a teacher can use in a classroom context to help students become emotionally intelligent by being self-aware, being able to regulate their feelings, and being socially aware of what is happening around them. So when you look at what we have, number one, you can see a photo of learners writing. So in my classes, what I do when I want my learners to develop self-awareness is I take a topic like reflective journaling. And before we go much into how we use the reflective journaling, we are going to understand first what is being self-aware or what is self-awareness. Self-awareness is the ability to recognize your feelings, strengths, weaknesses, and understand how they affect your performance. So in a class context, what I do is I take any lesson, and in that lesson, I allow my students to use a reflective journal. So we're going to look at the activities that we use so that they can be able to develop this. Now, what are the activities we do? Within a lesson, I can allocate the first 5 minutes or the last 5 minutes at the end of the lesson to allow my students to privately journal. How do we go about this? I allow them to write one thing that is stressing them, one thing they are proud of that day, and one thing they can do better, or they can do to feel better. So during this time, they are able to, number one, manage their stress, because by recognizing what is stressing them, it helps them to manage or avoid what is stressing them. Number two, it also helps them to gain the competency of problem solving, because they're in tune with themselves and they find solutions to their problems. At the end of it, I assure my learners that they have privacy of their journals, because they will only feel free and open and safe if they are sure nobody is going to get what they're journaling privately. And at the end of the term, I can encourage them to come up with a poem for those who are good at poetry to also develop their skills in poetry. After that, we are going to move to the next domain, and that is self-regulation. Now, when you look at the picture, you can see my students in a debate environment. So when we talk about self-regulation, what am I looking at? Self-regulation is the ability to recognize your feelings, strengths, weaknesses, and understand how they affect your performance. So ensuring your student is able to recognize their feelings, strengths, and weaknesses and understand how they affect their performance is very important, because in life they will experience a lot of things that are going to affect them. How do I do this? I take a lesson type, which is listening and speaking, where they have to listen to others and they also have to be expressive. I use things like debate to develop self-regulation. So what are the activities that I use? Number one, I choose a common English debate topic. I look at the topics that they can easily talk about and they can get emotional about. So, for instance, I can pick peer pressure causes more good, or teen mothers should be allowed to return to school without stigma. Alternatively, I can talk about something like social media should be banned among teenagers. So this will provoke a lot of emotions. And while doing that, I ensure that I establish respect rules to help them to regulate their emotions. At the end of that particular debate session, I will ensure I reward emotionally intelligent behavior, like the learners who have used a calm tone, or the ones who are able to listen effectively without arguing, or the ones who have been able to be respectful without insulting anybody or without having an outburst. And by the end of that lesson, you find that what are some of the competencies that these learners are going to gain. Number one, they will gain self-control. Another one, they will be more confident because they can be able to express themselves in a group. Another one, they will learn respectful argumentation because they can be able to respect the other person's opinion without necessarily having an outburst. And then they also learn to express themselves very well. So by using debating, you find that this particular learner will learn how to regulate their emotions. Finally, we are going to look at social awareness. Now, if you look at the photos, you can recognize that I am in two of those photos. I am seated outside class. With this one, I love doing it outside classroom because the environment also creates a different mood, especially when it comes to group work. So in the first picture, I am reading and a student is explaining for me one of the pieces of creative writing that they were able to write group. In the second one, learners are also reading for me part of the script that they had written. And the other one, the students' brains at work. And the last one, a learner is reading one of the creative writings that they were able to develop. So what is social awareness? Social awareness is the ability to gauge your environment and understand the emotions, perspective of others. We call it friendliness with purpose. So it helps the learners to develop meaningful relationships with each other and also to be more empathetic about the feelings of the other learners. How do we develop this? Mostly, I take an example or a topic of creative writing or plot development. And what are some of the activities that we use? So in a class context, I place my students in group and provide a real life scenario or a real time challenge that teenagers face. So where I teach, some of the problems or the challenges that teenagers face are drug abuse, early pregnancies, or students skipping school due to no fees, or a teenager having challenges because they come from a broken home. And what do? I tell my learners to come up with an essay showing emotionally intelligent choices of how learners can be able to solve these challenges in life. And after that, you find that they are able to collaborate and come up with something collectively that is revised. And one of the learners is allowed to read that particular essay for us to discuss. So by the end of that lesson, you realize that the learners will learn positive thinking because they look for positive solutions to their problems. They learn how to collaborate and work together as a group. They learn to develop empathy because these are real life experiences and they have to come up with solutions, and they also learn problem solving. So after this, I will show you one of the videos of one of my learners sharing how this particular program has helped them.
So they have these different programs. The program has different.
Yeah, we can't hear it, Yvonne. So do you want to tell people what she's saying?
Okay, so sorry about that. So Mercy is a student who was very shy. She couldn't express herself, but over time, she loved the aspect of writing her feelings. So she developed it, and she got to a point where she wrote novels where she could express what she thinks about her intrusive thoughts. And she was also able to gain her confidence, and now she is more expressive. So, what are some of the things that this gives me as a takeaway as a teacher? Most of the time, you realize that when you teach students, they can tend to forget what you teach them. But it is very difficult for a learner to forget how you made them feel. And that's why in Kenya, there's this common phrase that people love using on social media. And I will say it in Kiswahili. It says, Mwalimu wa maths hapa ni wapi? So this technically means My mathematics teacher, where am I now? And they use this to express their mockery to their math teachers for not believing in their potential. So knowledge can slip away, but the feelings you plant as a teacher will remain. And that's why, regardless of whichever subject to teach, I believe that when you take care of your students' emotions and help them with skills that can help them to be emotionally intelligent, you give them something that will help them for the rest of their lives. Thank you for your keen listening. And now I can give room for questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I have been thinking as you are presenting how intentional you were with everything that you planned in your class. Sometimes, because we teach our students and we get very busy with routine, we forget what is our intention. In introducing a certain activity or planning a certain lesson, it is very important to really think about the impact of this activity or lesson on our students' learning. And also, you shared with us today the impact on their feelings. So, thank you very much for this presentation. Please feel free to unmute yourself if you want to share a comment or ask a question, or type in the chat box if you have anything to share. I have a question for you, Ivan, as we are waiting for the audience to share their comments. Are there any challenges that you faced with your students in expressing their emotions or in just talking about their feelings after the activities that you have shared with them?
Yes, the first one is when we were beginning, there was fear because, when you write, you're scared that someone is going to see what you're writing and then they will judge you from what you're writing. But then first, I had to make them feel safe and feel like no one is going to read. And if someone was going to read, then it is very disrespectful. So that was the first one. That is for the journaling one. And for the one that involved creative writing, at first it took a lot of time because now they were arguing so much. Everyone wanted their point to carry the day, and you needed the essay within a given duration of time. So it was quite draining and very time consuming. But after they picked it, it became easier with time. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Sarah's asking, have you had a chance to share any of these techniques with your colleagues, and what has their responses been?
Yeah, I have shared with some of my colleagues. Not everybody was open to embracing it because, of course, it comes with a lot of work. But for those who embraced it, there has been a shift or a change on how even the students look forward to the lessons because they know they're going to let out their emotions, like they're going to carry off the weight of what they experience. So teaching, and I can say teaching English has become more fun in our school. Yes.
Wow. I'm also curious to know, like, how often did you plan these activities with your students? Like once every week, like once every month?
For the journaling, we do it once every week because it can be quite engaging because sometimes you have to plan your lessons within the stipulated time. So you can only sacrifice 5 minutes of a few lessons. And then for the writing skills, we try and do writing every fortnight in our school so that it's very practical because of the numbers and the marking. So with that, if I do it within this fortnight, the next one, of course, they'll do individual work. So with that one, it's more of monthly. So you keep on shifting. Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. That's such a great experience you are sharing. also students at this age, as you shared in your presentation, they really like are under this peer pressure. So you have designed activities that would help them voice their opinions, talk about how they feel without having the pressure of judgment that would come from their classmates. So can you share with us, because you said one of the important things is to set the rules before you start the activities so they respect each other's opinions. So can you share with us some of these rules that you have set for a teacher listening and wanting to do the same in their classes?
Number one is the rules of turn taking. You can't speak when someone else is speaking. And if you have to interject, you have to do it respectfully. Number two is you use polite language and no shouting whatsoever. In fact, if you shout, they're the ones who will stop you. So I don't even have to do most of the work. So number three, they're also the ones to point out the mistakes. So if they're able to recognize the shortcoming of their behavior, then it's easier for them to control their behavior. So it's like they take charge over the lesson. So it's basically just those three. I don't think there's more magic that we do. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your presentation and for sharing this important experience and reminding us as teachers and educators of the importance of being intentional about everything we do in our classes. Thank you very much, Yeska, and also thank you, Sarah, for your great work.
Thank you.
You can stop sharing now, and we are going to move to our next presenter tonight and the last one. Uh, and sorry for the technical issues. We are going to stay for, I guess, 20 more minutes. Our next presenter is Veronica, and I'm glad to introduce her mentor, Yveri. Yveri is also one of our past mentees in this program, and she has been a mentor, I don't know, like for 3 years in this program, if I'm not mistaken. Yveri is also a multi-award winning English teacher and teacher educator. She's currently doing her PhD in education and social justice at the University of Birmingham. Very proud of you, Yveri. Her research focuses on multilingualism and socially just pedagogical practices. Yveri, over to you.
Thank you very much, Amira. Hello, everyone. Um, Glad to have you all here today. It's always a pleasure to watch our mentees share their classroom practices with us. So my incredible mentee, Veronica, I'm going to give a little bit about her. So Veronica is an English and literature teacher from Tanzania with um, 10 years of teaching experience. She holds a bachelor's degree in English language from the University of Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. She's also a human rights advocate and founder and director of Voice of Women Africa, where she advocates for the right of girls and women with disabilities. Veronica is currently at Georgia State University in the US, where she's representing her country for the Fulbright Teaching and Excellence program. Over to you, Veronica. Um, Amira, am I the hook
Yeah,
cohort
I
so I
did.
can share her slides?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, all right.
Veronica,
Oops.
you need to unmute yourself.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are so grateful for your prestigious time that you have paid for our presentation. We really appreciate. As my mentor had introduced me, I am going to present on engaging English language learners through literary analysis for community impact. There are different global issues that we can discuss as teachers when we are learning and teaching literature or English subject. There are varieties of global issues, example, environmental preservation, gender equity, human rights and social justice, cultural diversity and identity. But for my case, I preferred today to discuss about gender equity. Therefore, before you present the gender equity to the class to students, you first follow these steps so that you get in place and students will understand actually what is the content. First, you have to select an issue. We have global issues. We have a lot. And as long as English is a cross-curricular subject, we can touch everything which is there in the world, in the globe. So you select an issue and you find an appropriate text which discusses that issue, but also after having that text which align with your students' levels of education and the language fluency and the proficiency, then you analyze that text. You read in the classroom and you analyze while targeting some vocabularies which you are going to let them learn as far as your issue is concerned. But again, after they learn in the classroom and they're analyzing, then they have to go to the community to raise awareness. And after that awareness, what is the impact? Yes, let's go. Yeah, so as back, one step back. Yeah, as for the global issue that FUD, yeah, as for the global issue, which is gender equity, I selected The Lion and the Jewel by Wole Soyinka. This book is set in Ilujile village found in Nigeria. And yet it is very relevant in our context because we are using it in our literature classrooms in Tanzania. And the other book is The Dilemma of the Ghost by Christina Amata Aido. In these books, the authors depicted the different things, but especially uses characters such as men to show that men are the one who got education and the women are left behind, which challenge this, which we want to challenge this systemic structure. As for the lion and the jewel, we can see this man, you can see the chief of Ilujile, he's called the Baroka. And the man with books called the Lakunle, but this beautiful girl is called the Sidi. She got into a trap whereby she got married to this oldie and the greedy man who is a polygamous and never gets satisfied of women. Because he's a lion. He has to use different tricks to get Sidi. Because Sidi is a jewel in Ilujile village. She's very beautiful. And everyone in the village knows that she's beautiful and famous. So Baroka had to use that trick to get Sidi. And according to their culture, if a girl or a woman sleep with the man for the first time, regardless of the situation or the environment or the circumstances that led them to sleep together, as he is going to be her first man, she must get married to that man. So Baroka the chief is 62 years old and the city is 18 years old. So she has been forced to get married to Baroka while she didn't love him. because of the systemic structure and the wall that the society has put to women. So Lakule is educated and she never bothered about the women virginity. So she told the city, I will marry you even if you don't have your virginity. But I'm marrying you as just a human being, not like someone that I will mistreat because of the so-called bride price that men are paying to women and just to manipulate them as they are mere commodities. So CD didn't get married to this gentleman because she lost the virginity, and the virginity has been taken away by Baraka, who is now going to pay the bride price. So if it is not for the bride price, Sidi could have gone to someone that she loves. Now you understand why we have to teach students in the classroom to challenge harmful norms that lead to gender inequality in the community. Okay, then we have now to do the analysis in the classroom, to discuss some issues which are found in that book. We find the different vocabularies on gender and human rights issues, that what it takes like to have a society where everyone can stay freely from violence, stay freely from thoughts like maybe I will be harmed sometimes, or someone can mistreat me because of my gender. Then students learned it through role play and group discussion. After that, they come to realize that it takes different issues like to respect human rights, like everyone to adhere human rights will lead to gender equity. So justice is very important. Then everyone should be treated with fairness, respect, human dignity. So we have to respect all this. And this one, the first picture that you see, you can see it is very clear and it is very attractive. But the second one, you can see student has faults. These vocabularies, the justice, the freedom, the rule of law, the protection, the human right, dignity, the inclusion, the respect, they fault it. This is how people are trying to ruin others people's life. At the second photo, you can see how that person is manipulating human rights and mistreating others. And then afterwards, they come to realize we did this in unknowingly, like we didn't meant to do it, but you can find they meant it. Like female genital mutilation, they are doing it deliberately. Then they will come and say, we are sorry, we just did it, but we are sorry. Then you can see the third picture. The third picture, the student now unfold the papers, but they will never be as original as the first one. Now you come to realize that when you violate human rights, when you don't respect inclusion, then sorry become irrelevant. You cannot say sorry by violating human rights deliberately. No. Yeah. Then this is a role play. The students are practicing in the classroom. They learn different vocabularies. Then they have to act in the classroom. And here in the second picture, they are doing storytelling in the community. Literature is a mirror and it reflects what is within the community. So if it is the product from the community and it is not from the vacuum, then after students learn in the classroom, they have to go to the community, because one among the importance of studying literature is to educate the community. Again, to criticize the community. Then they have to challenge different norms or to educate the society on what they want. what they want, what it takes like to take care of a girl student, so that the I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm coming a little bit, connecting my power. Yeah, thank you. So they are doing storytelling and to raise awareness for the community. What's happened after this awareness? Next slide is also the next slide is also about awareness campaign that students did in during graduation ceremony, and it involved both girls and the men and the boys. They were raising voices on how we can raise funds so that we get a hostel for girls and even boys who are living far from school, because you may find some girls are dropping out of school because of the distance that they are coming. And then you can find on the way, they get these people who are called the border. Sometimes these people who are riding the motorbike, they gave them lifts. And what in return are they going to pay? Because they don't have money. Then what are they going to pay afterwards? They find themselves getting in relationship with those men, and they get impregnated, and they drop out from school. So they were raising, this is the campaign, they were singing, they were crying in front of the guests, whom they were the one who chose those honorable guests to participate in this graduation. So they were telling, they were raising the voice. So in the classroom, we have to incorporate equity in our classes, because it helps us to raise the generation who are very strong to challenge the systemic structures and the harmful norms which are in the community. And just making literature not a rote learning, but a learning with impact. We have to be, the students have to be problem solvers. So after that awareness, in the graduation, they planned a marathon where we raised a lot of money to buy the plot, so that we get some donors to build a hostel to keep them safe, and then provision of sanitary pads, because some girls are not coming to school when they are in their days, because they don't have even sanitary pads to make themselves safe. But also the campaign on environmental conservation, because they donated even the trees. The students had the autonomy of choosing the guests they need in the graduation, because they know what they wanted it to address in the graduation. So the guest of honor provided these trees, and they are raising the campaign of preserving the environment, because when it comes to climate change, the vulnerable group always are women, girls, and the young children. So there is a very big impact when it comes to integrating literary analysis in our teaching and learning. Because as for the literature reviews that I read, they said it is not an optional. Now it is a must. Yeah. So, dear teachers, this is a call for all of us to integrate different global issues in our teaching and learning, so that we produce the product who are problem solvers and who have communication skills to challenge harmful norms, which can lead to inequality in gender. Everyone deserves to be respected. Everyone deserves to be treated with fairness. Yes, you're welcome for questions and answers. I'm here to answer. And thank you again.
Wow, Veronica.
Bye.
Thank you for sharing this powerful presentation with us and sharing the amazing work that you are doing with your students, leaving an impact not only on your students but also on the community, and doing things beyond the classroom to help your learners come to the class and be active and still get the education they deserve, as you said. So thank you for your great efforts. Very inspiring presentation, and it shows the impact of you as the teacher and the leader in your community, um, actually like seeing the needs and trying to work towards meeting them while teaching your students something. Because I see a lot of like global issues, like initiatives that are done in the classroom with no language impact. This is still good, but what you did was great because you really taught them something at the same time, helped them be active in their community.
Thank
Uh,
you.
yeah, Sarah?
Hi, Veronica. That was a great presentation. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Sarah. Thank you.
I'm just wondering, you talked about the students had autonomy over who to invite to their graduation. Presumably, some of those people were prospective donors. Um, were those people aware of the issues that the students, particularly the girls, were facing? Were the issues something that was new to them, or did they know about them and they just needed a push in the right direction?
Oh, thank you so much. As I talked to you about the issues of awareness campaign, as
Mm.
students are learning in the classroom, that is just a road learning. But after learning in the classroom, they have to go in the community and make storytelling and tell people what is going on outside there, which they don't know, by the way. They don't know if it is even impactful, what they are doing. They really don't know sometimes that they are doing things which violate human rights. Therefore, students or alone knows who to address their issues to. They know this person is an advocate of environment. This person is an advocate on gender issues. So they just go there. They meet the person. They start telling them the story about 1, 2, 3. So when that person is coming for graduation, he will find, or he or she will find the friends to support him on that issue, because the guest of honor must bring impact. We just don't take a guest of honor from nowhere. No, we want someone whom we can address the problem to him or her, then can solve that problem. So that is what happened. So for our case, the person whom we got is the one who initiated the marathon so that we can get money, and we made it.
Thank you. And that's a really important skill for the students as well, to be able to go out and kind of face the right people and be able to approach them. Yeah, excellent work. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, once again.
Wow, that's excellent indeed. And at this age, actually like venture doing something, asking for money from donors to raise awareness about a very important cause for the community. So doing it at this young age for your students is amazing and very inspiring. So thank you for
Thank you.
teaching us how to do it.
Thank you.
Um, okay, you want to end with this quote?
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Amira, for reminding me of this quote. Like, language opens the door. Literature invites students to step through and lead. This is by Veronica Kidemi. I'm becoming a scholar now. And
Yes, we can quote you.
I am
Cite you.
learning a lot. I am from the former one, as Martin Luther King Jr. said, our lives begin to end when we remain silent of things that matters. So if someone is acting to violate human rights, then you don't shout or talk about that thing. Means you are even bad than that one who is doing that act. So we have to raise voice for things that matters. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you very for your help with the slides and for mentoring Veronica. You are a great team, I'm sure, together, two amazing stars. Thank you very much. And yeah, I hope you can read the chat box also to see the comments from the audience. And I will leave it there. So I am not really willing to say anything after your quote. It's a very powerful ending. And I'd like to just say thank you to everyone who joined us tonight. And tonight is the shortest of the 3 days because tomorrow we are going to have more presentations and also Sunday. So please stay tuned and join us tomorrow at the same time for more presentations from our VGs and also great mentors. Thank you all and see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Dr. Amira.
Thanks, everyone. Great presentations. See you soon.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.